Hi guys, I'm Keisha over here at Beautifully Flawed Fitness. If you haven't checked it out, go check my website out. I post blogs every week and video blogs, everything involving health, fitness, wellness, and just life in general. And today, I just wanted to talk about more of a real life vlog about parenting and being a mom and children and babies and how to navigate some unique challenges that come along with that and staying healthy, not only mentally and emotionally, but also physically. So this vlog is geared towards mothers or mothers-to-be or mothers who want to be, but you guys are superheroes. Can I just tell you that? Like, moms are amazing. We juggle so many things. Like, people don't get it. Like, unless you walk in a mom's shoe, like, you have no idea the amount of stuff that goes on in your head, the amount of pressures from the outside world, the amount of like navigating you're having to do, and then you have to like present yourself, right? And take care of other human beings who have choices and decisions, and especially when they get older, like verbalize all these things, you know? It's quite a path to navigate. So I have two boys, a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old. They're so awesome. I'm so thankful to be a mom. That's a whole nother story, but I actually didn't want any kids. I didn't want to get married, and my life took a turn, and I have two boys, and I love them to death. So this video, I thought I would talk about the pressure of having children. And I got a comment from a friend. She said, do you ever struggle with people asking you, like, when are you gonna have a kid? Or are you gonna have another kid? Or how many kids are you gonna have? And oh my goodness, like, it's probably, I would say, the number one thing that I have heard the most my entire life. And let me tell you why. I am the oldest of 14 children. Yes, you heard that right. My mom had 14 children. We have the same mom and dad, minus 3 siblings are adopted. So my mom physically birthed 11 children, and my siblings who were adopted, I have twin brothers who were adopted at 6 months old and a sister who was adopted at 3 years old. So we've pretty much had them their entire life. Now, my mom and dad obviously have beliefs and feelings and ideas of family and children and what it means. And my mom literally has been pregnant my whole entire life. Like, her whole life has been consumed with children and taking care of children. I'm the oldest, right? So I'm almost 37, and my youngest sister is almost, I think she's 11, almost 12. So my mom is still running elementary age students to school and extracurricular activities. Yeah. I was married and my mom had children after I was married. I'm actually closer in age to my mom than my younger 3 siblings. So you can imagine, right? Like, the number one question I get asked from before I got married to being married to even now is, when are you gonna have kids? Are you gonna have kids? How many kids are you gonna have? Are you gonna have more kids? When's the next kid coming, right? So I can tell you, it's been a huge source of pain. It's been a huge source of internal war. It's been a huge journey to navigate. It's been a big challenge to walk through. It's been a pressure that I wish I never had to deal with, because frankly, I didn't want kids. I didn't even want to get married. Like, I didn't want to have anything to do with it because I was the oldest and it was so much responsibility for me, like taking care of everybody and helping my mom and trying to make sure everything was okay. Like, I ran away from it like a rattlesnake chasing me. I mean, that's the best metaphor I could take because I hate snakes. Anyways, so how did I navigate it? Honestly, it's taken me like my whole life. Like, probably there's still areas I'm still navigating. When I got married, I actually like freaked out having sex with my husband multiple times because I didn't want to have kids, and I couldn't decide my opinion or my thoughts about birth control because I was trying to navigate what I believed about it, what my spirituality was about it. Why didn't I want to have kids? Why did I want to have kids? Were those good reasons? Were they not good reasons? Like, I'm such a thinker and a processor. Like, I'd be in this middle battleground in my head and couldn't make a decision. So then, because I couldn't make a decision, then I freaked out because I didn't want to have any kids, right? So, oh my God, my poor husband, he had to navigate all that with me. But ultimately, I got to this place one step at a time. The first step was trusting God about something. And I had to trust him that I'm made uniquely me. And my uniqueness is very individual. So individual that, you know, the way I feel, the way I think, the things I like, the way I grew up, the influences around me, you know, they all like shape me, who I am and how I see the world. And so I had to trust that God knows that, and he knows that I needed to navigate these paths or have this time to figure things out, right? And he also, I think, trusting that God knew that about my life, I could trust that I could do things my way, if that makes sense. So I guess my message to you would be like, you are uniquely you. Nobody else. Nobody else has to walk your journey or your life. Nobody else's opinion in the state or the case of having children or not having children is anybody's business except for yours. And it is your unique journey to walk through and figure out and navigate and choose when or how or what. And for me, I didn't want it, but I do know that there's many women out there who do want it and aren't able to have it, right? And so you're gonna have to navigate that journey and what you do and the choices you make and how you navigate the path to motherhood, right? I have some beautiful friends who have done everything from IVF to surrogate mothers. I even have a friend who's adopted embryos, and to me, it's beautiful. All the journeys are beautiful, and they're so unique, and they're unique to each individual. And it sucks that the world, our families, sometimes the people closest to us, our friends, our parents, you know, say things and make comments that really negate the uniqueness and the individualness of each person and each person's journey and where they're at and what they're struggling with. And I'm reminded again that each of us has hidden battles and hidden struggles that nobody knows about, that we're navigating, and people don't remember that. Like, people don't think about that when they make comments, when they ask when you're gonna have another kid. My husband and I ended up not having children for 5 years. The first 5 or 6 years we were married. I had my oldest son when I was 27, almost 28. And then I had my second son when I was 30. They're 18 months apart, exactly a year and a half, almost to the day apart from each other. And that was a big step. That was huge for me to have both those little boys. But in both of those instances, I was completely ready. Actually, I didn't know how many kids I wanted. I had my first son, and when people would ask me, I'd always just say one at a time. That became my like go-to answer. People like, how many kids do you want? I'm like, I don't know, one at a time. And then nobody had anything to say after that. So I had my first son, and I really didn't know if I wanted to have any more kids or not. I kind of just wanted to have a kid to check it off my list that I did it. But once I had him, I knew that I didn't want him to be an only child. I come from such a big family, and I have really great memories with my siblings, and my sister, who's just a year younger than me. We're really close, and I wanted that for him. And so I knew I wanted another one for sure. And it took us a long time to get pregnant with the first one, and so I just assumed it would take a long time to have another one. And so we ended up getting pregnant when my oldest was only 6 months old. So that was kind of a bit of a shock, but it was really awesome. And when I was pregnant, I really hoped that I would have another boy, because I just felt they could be like best friends like me and my sister are. since they would be so close in age. So I had my second son and 2 boys, and I was kind of just going on this journey of one child at a time. And I had really gotten to this place of loving and enjoying motherhood, which is really weird for me to say. I never saw myself like that. I saw myself as like a career woman and a worker and not a nurturing mother type. I did that my whole life and really didn't want to have anything to do with it. But having my own children really changed a lot inside of me. I thought I'd be so anal and so like kind of stingy and stuffy and strict, and I'm so like a perfectionist and like things a certain way. And when I had my kids, this other side of me came out that's like super flexible and really like kind and understanding and very like nurturing, and you couldn't have paid me $1 million that's how I would have responded. Even my husband's like been shocked. But it's been a really beautiful journey for me, being a mom and having children. And after 2, it really like opened me up for the idea of having more. Again, one at a time. And I say unfortunately, but my husband and I kind of hit some really big potholes, and not just potholes, like hell holes, like all the way down to the depths of hell, black, messy, horrible times. And we're still like climbing our way out of what happened back then. It's been almost 8 years now, and it shattered my entire world. It crushed me. I don't think I've ever felt pain so deep. And one of the biggest things I lost in the process was the choice of having more children. I got asked after the second one, for the last 7 years, when are we going to have more? When are we going to have more? And nobody knew the silent battle that I was going through. And there was just no way, from many different angles, from a healthy standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, there was no way that we could have another kid at the time, all this time. And nobody knew that, nobody saw that, but people kept asking about it, And I think the hardest part for me was, I think I was at a place where I would have had more kids, or I wanted more kids, and I got that taken away from me. So many years of like, almost like a healing journey for me, a trust journey, a building up to having children, and a very uncertain journey, but then stepping out and into the uncertainty of motherhood and having children, and then it being like this beautiful, amazing journey, and kind of falling in love with it, and then wanting to go down that path more, and then getting the whole road like ripped away from me. And I had to navigate this deep sense of loss, this deep sense of grief, this deep sense of desire, and at the same time like keep my marriage together, take care of my 2 infant sons, navigate living overseas away from family and no help. And it was so hard getting the comments and the people asking me, every year as my kids got bigger and bigger. So my son's 2, my son's 3. So when are you gonna have another kid? You're gonna have another kid now, right? And then everybody's also saying, try again so you can have a girl because you only have boys, like have another one because you want a girl. And it's the comments that we get all the time, and then it makes you question, is what you have enough? Is what you have like the end or not? And is there something better on the other side? And if you're
thinking through all that and you really want it but you can't have it, like then you have to navigate that too, and that feeling of loss and that feeling of grief and that feeling like you don't have a choice in the matter but you want something else but you can't do it. And like, you can't have those conversations with everybody. They're too long to like dig through all the things that you're going through and all the struggles and all the, you know, the conversations you have in your head. And I was in that place for a really long time, and it wasn't until the beginning of this year, it's almost been a year, that I finally just said, you know what, I'm so thankful for the family I have. I'm so thankful for the 2 boys that I do have. And if I never have any more kids and it never works out and we're never in a place that we can do that again, I am going to be okay. I'm done being sad about the what ifs. I'm done feeling the sorrow of loss and of grief. But I gave myself time to grieve, and I gave myself time to cry, and I gave myself time to feel the hurt and feel the pain, and I think I just let it go, right? Like, I grieved it and I let it go, and I got to this place where I just said, you know, now I want to just like make my life the best it can, make my life the fullest it can be with what I do have, because what I do have is beautiful, and I don't ever want my kids to feel like they're not enough, or I don't ever want to communicate in a way that says I wished I had more or I wanted more. And I think for the first time I just made a decision that my family's done, my family's complete, and I'm okay with that. And not only am I okay with it, like, it's beautiful, it's magical, and we're gonna make magic, and we're gonna make every day count, and we're gonna make every day matter. And out of my whole journey, I feel like what I gained the most from it was just a deeper understanding and a deeper compassion for moms and for mothers and for women and those who want to be moms and can't be moms, or women who've lost, or, you know, women who want and can't have, right? Like, when it comes to parenting and motherhood. And I also have many, many friends who have children with special needs and disabilities and life-threatening diseases like cancer and heart defects, and I know all of them have had to go through processes of loss and grieving and sorrow, but I think those journeys that we go through make us strong, they make us who we are, and they make us resilient. And yeah, so I guess I just want to like leave this video to say, like, moms, you're strong. Moms, you have to navigate so many things, and if you can find within yourself like the goodness that you do have and where you are at and what the journey that you've gone through has brought you to, like, it doesn't matter what other people ask or what other people say. And even to this day, like, when people ask me, "You're gonna have more?" and I've already kind of decided in my heart, like, we're done and we're not having any more, I don't tell people that, because I actually can't handle the argument back of, "Oh, you should have more, like, you can't be done, you're still young," or, you know, like, I still can't deal with all those comments, so I just smile and say, like, maybe, or something like that, you know, to keep the conversation going, or to keep the other person, like, keep on moving forward and not get stuck on that. But it's a really hard path to navigate as a mom, as a woman, as a wife, like, figuring out what you need and what's best for you. And to the moms out there who've lost, I'm sorry. I know that the pain is very deep, and I wish I could hug you from the phone, but know that somebody is thinking about you, and there are people that care. I hope you have good friends and people in your life who can walk alongside of you through your loss and through your grief, and allow yourself that space and that time to do that, because you're strong and you will walk through the journey, and you'll have a beautiful story at the end. And even though this whole video had nothing to do about fitness, it's these stories and it's these experiences in my life that brought me to the place of creating Beautifully Flawed Fitness. So for me, Beautifully Flawed is more than just fitness. Beautifully Flawed is taking every experience in our life that's messy, that's chaotic, that's overwhelming, that's deep, that's painful, that we have to walk through. And it's walking through it and coming out on the other side, finding the beauty within it, right? And the beauty that I found in my own journey was that I still have two amazing boys that I love, that are worth everything. And I want to make magic and adventures and awesome experiences in my two little boys' life, right? And be the best mom I can be, and the best example, and the best model. And in my opinion, like, what better way than to be a strong mom who can lift heavier weights than them, you know, that they inspire to be, and who can hang with them and race them and run faster than them and jump higher than them as long as I can. But man, little boys for me have just like made me want to be like the strongest, most confident mom that I can be for them, so that they feel they can take on the world, right? So find your beautiful moments in the middle of your chaos in motherhood, in trying to be a mom and trying to conceive, or navigating the path of motherhood, whatever it might look like for you, whether it's adoption or embryos or surrogates or whatever it might be, you know, like, it's messy. And for all you other women out there, mothers, grandmas, and other moms, if you're listening to this, like, think twice the next time you ask somebody, oh, when are you gonna have another kid? Or it's been a long time since you had a kid. Like, what are you guys thinking next? Like, think twice before you ask a question like that. Maybe ask more of a question of like, where are you at in life right now? What are some of the dreams you have? What things really excite you? Because life is so much bigger, and we're all going through so many different things. So maybe just next time think twice before asking that question. So again, if you enjoy this video, please click like. If you have a comment, leave a comment. If you want to reach out, if you want to talk to somebody, I'm here. I would love to hear. You can go to my website, www.beautifullyflawedfitness.com. You can find my contact information there and contact me. I'll also leave it below. Subscribe for more videos if you want more videos. And I really hope that this video, if anything, gave you a little bit more glimpse into my life, and another little story and a nugget of how I see Beautifully Flawed Fitness and how it really penetrates every area of our life, including parenting and motherhood. And I hope that you have a beautiful day, and you moms out there rock.